This podcast has been brought to you by Podcast Nation.
I love that for our kids. I hope that they live the rest of their lives like kids. I do. I don't know why you guys are laughing.
Apply for a job.
No,
How old
but
are
like,
you? How old are you?
if they keep that,
23?
if they keep that,
Do we have recess here?
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
You're listening to the Laughing Couple podcast with your hosts, Brittany and Ryan Ostafy. Join them weekly as they discuss topics such as relationships, kids, sex, parenting, all unfiltered and all with a healthy dose of laughter. Please welcome your hosts, Brittany and Ryan Ostafy.
Okay, so we've been doing this in a while, and I feel like it's really needed. What?
the fact that you say it's really needed tells me that we're in for a doozy.
No. I just feel like I think that I don't want to like hold on to this. It's the beginning of summer.
I really wish you would have not held on to it and not saved it for this podcast. But
well, since you have nothing prepared, there's nowhere else to go.
Shall we go for it?
No, it's not needed. It's just okay. So we've got the start of summer, and
I know where this is
really, you do?
Yeah.
What?
Are you about to tell me that I go into work mode and you go into juggling all of the things
Yes.
mode? Okay. That's a fair thing to be annoyed about.
It's really annoying. And we've had this conversation so many times. Like, I am also working. My schedule does this. So I don't mind being able to pick up the pieces and stuff. But I really feel like I need some consistency in the routine and the schedule. And that looks like you still taking care of breakfast in the mornings. I'm going to be making lunches every single day because, well, hopefully for the kids, and I make dinner. So I'd love if you could still jump on the breakfast train for the children.
I have no problem with the breakfast chain. The problem that I have with our children to date, this is day 2 technically
Right.
of summer. The kids sleep in.
What time were the kids up today?
I was in a meeting when Riley came downstairs.
Okay. She doesn't mean she wasn't awake. She was awake.
Cooper
and I were on the couch.
Yes.
You were out for a walk.
Yeah.
Right. You got home around 7:45-ish.
30, but yeah.
Yeah. So no.
I was actually downstairs when you guys came in.
Okay. Oh yeah. Yeah. You were.
I was
yeah.
working.
Anyways, Cooper was up at 7. We were hanging out in the room, and then we came downstairs. Riley was already awake. What I'm saying is that they might not be downstairs, but they're awake. You can be like, "Hey guys, what do you want for breakfast?" Make their breakfast.
Okay, so we've had 2 days of summer.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, the kids slept in until 8:30. I was working. I was in a meeting. I had my morning meeting. Breakfast was not.
That was awesome that they slept in.
Yeah, it was amazing, incredible, c'était incredible. But that was not an option for me. Today, could I have made Cooper breakfast? Absolutely, I could have. By the time Riley came down, again, I was in my morning meeting.
I know, babe, but
not an
like by
option
the
for
time
me.
she came down, you're like, I'm managing my schedule upstairs. I'm trying to get ready. We have a podcast here, and you're like, can you go do this? And I'm like, this has been your job up until the summer.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is I would like to get ahead of this so that we're not going into the summer and I'm not like, why, like I need help here.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So.
This goes back to the conversation of the invisible backpack.
Yeah.
Or the
like we need to delegate these tasks so that we both feel the support from one another, right? Like coming home.
without a doubt.
Unpacking our clothes, unpacking the kids' clothes.
Yep.
doing all the laundry.
I do not disagree with what you're saying. I also know that your schedule is way more flexible. Yesterday, you took the kids for half the day to
Absolutely.
a pool. I can't do that with my
I'm
schedule.
not saying that. I have already admitted that.
Yeah.
I definitely am the one that picks up the pieces
I have
because
way more
because I
structure.
can. But then there are going to be weeks where I literally will be drowning. So I'm just saying.
let's get ahead of it.
To have a. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, let's do that.
Great.
I love that for us.
Okay.
I love that. I find it's interesting that you're already annoyed by something that I had
No,
no
I'm
control
not.
over. bro.
Sorry. I positioned it in the aspect of it. I love you and you're annoying. It's just something that I wanted to discuss.
Oh,
I
yeah.
maybe did not need to preface it by being like, this is my love you and you're annoying. It's just one of those things where I'm like, I don't want this to perpetuate throughout the whole summer because I'm going to be holding this ball of resentment and it's going to be annoying and I don't want to do that.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Okay, cool.
I love that we're on day 2 and we're having this conversation and it hasn't reached the level of annoying yet because I had zero intentions of not helping you.
I know. That's great.
Just the last 2 days have not been like the kids have to get into a routine too. Like the kids have to be aware, if you want mom and dad to make breakfast for you, if you want dad to make breakfast for you, you can't sleep until 8:30. Like I cannot afford to have my day start after 8:30.
And listen, if the days and the kids are sleeping in till 8:30, then I will make them breakfast.
Yeah, see, the thing is, we have structures in our lives that we've created to make everything work. I wake up before everyone's awake, and I go in and I get my exercise in because I know I can't do that when everyone's awake. I also know that I also don't want to do that at night because I'm taking my time away from either the children or you. So I have created a system that allows us to do this podcast once a week, that allows me to work out and get the exercise that I require, make the breakfast and do those things. If the kids decide that they want to throw their schedule up in the air, it no longer works for me. They need to know that it now affects them. They're going to have to make their own damn breakfast.
Okay. Speaking of damn, so I posted a video yesterday and it was just like off the cuff, like day 2, summer, kids home. The house is like trash, not trash, but just there's just shit everywhere. Like literally everywhere. Every surface is just like, I'm going to put this here and someone will clean it up. And I was like twitching because again,
It feels like a little bit of a jab at me, but that's okay.
No, I'm talking about the kids.
Someone will clean it up.
Yeah, it'll be me cleaning it up for sure.
So slight jab.
Slight jab.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I make this video and it's very like, I show the kitchen and it's like, honestly, like 5 seconds of the kitchen. And there's just like stuff on every surface. Everybody in the comments is so mad at me. Some guy was like, you are your kid's trauma.
What? I thought your video was funny.
Yeah. But so here's the thing.
It had a musical interlude.
Yeah.
Interlude?
But
interlude?
people are mad for, well, 2 reasons. One,
interlude.
It's interlude.
Interlude. Yeah, I said it right.
Interlude? Yeah. People are mad
What
because
a weird word, interlude.
our house isn't messy enough for me to be upset about this, which I was like, messy is very relative. And also it's one room in my house. Someone was like, why don't you let your kids play with slime? You don't even have any carpet. You're a bad mom.
We do have carpet and we have
I know, it's
furniture.
I love when I read these comments to be like, everyone's so like, well, I know exactly who she is. I know everything about her. But some of the men are so funny in this comment section. Like they're just, somebody wrote, you just wanted to make this video to show everyone your nice kitchen. Don't lie to us. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, I think we have a beautiful kitchen,
God,
but I wouldn't say
that's not why
I wouldn't
did it.
say that
I would never show that.
We're ever gonna our kitchen will never be seen on a TV show. It's not like a nice kitchen. It's
nice
a beautiful kitchen.
Yeah, for sure. Either way, I just like some of these comments made me laugh so hard because, and then another woman was like, this is so sad. How lucky are you to have a house and afford the toys and your kids are home? Like you don't even love your children. They're not, I shouldn't say love. She's like, you don't even want your kids home. Like just enjoy it. And I was like, first of all, thank you. You're right. We do have a lovely home and we can afford it. And this is a fucking 22-second satire clip about my kids keeping like shit on the counters. And she's
People
like,
are
well,
hurting, Britt.
Trauma for you. Your kids are going to grow up and be like, we were never loved.
People are hurting.
Never loved.
People are hurting.
Yeah. Anyways, I just found it funny.
It's very clear when you have, and again, that was a funny video. I laughed at that video. I don't always laugh at your videos. I do laugh at some of them. I think you are a very witty human being, super talented. We were talking about this the other day. DK, Andy, and I were sitting.
Where was I?
You came into the conversation. You weren't excluded from it, but you were just in like the kitchen.
Put her
or
in the
something.
corner.
Yeah, put Brittany in the corner. We were all talking like none of us have a talent. Like I'm talentless.
That's not true.
I am talentless. I'm good at things.
Yeah.
But I'm talentless. You are filled with talent.
I don't think that's true.
Oh yeah, name a talent of mine.
You're artistic. You're charismatic.
Did you say autistic? I know you did.
Artistic.
I know what you said.
You're artistic.
I am not artistic. I can draw.
Yes, you can draw. You're funny.
Okay,
That's
no,
a talent.
No. Here, let's put it
That's
this
a
way.
talent. You're really good at impressions. Like three.
Three of them. Let's put it this way. I am not talent. Like I can draw. Yes, I can draw.
Yeah.
I can see something and I can.
That's a talent.
And I
babe.
can draw it.
That's a talent.
Not to a level that anyone in the history of ever would say, "Oh my God, you can draw."
Yeah.
Someone might say, "Oh, I never knew you could draw." That would be the
I
extent
still
of my
feel like
talent.
that's a talent. You're really good at football.
Oh yeah, I haven't played football in over 20 years. And you know what?
Listen, I'm trying here.
Not only have I not played football in
Oh,
20
yeah?
years, but when I played football at the peak of my football, do you know how many people in this world would say, "Wow, you're really good at football"?
What?
Very few.
I don't agree.
Very few. We live in Canada. Canadian football is not American football. But to make the CFL, you'd have to be a pretty decent football player.
Right.
But not an incredible football player because you'd be in the NFL. Do you see me with my jersey
I feel
on the
like you
wall?
could have been, but you broke your ankle. Anyways, I'm saying
Oh, I don't want to be that guy.
You do have
I'm
talents.
not that guy.
I could have been a contender except I broke my ankle. Too many concussions and I had to play.
I'm
Why
talentless.
are you all of a sudden talking like that?
I'm talentless.
That's not true.
There's not a single talent that I have that the world would be like, "Wow, Ryan, man, you are incredible." You, on the other hand, Biash, it feels like you're limitless with your talents. It's annoying.
Yeah,
I can't
you
put my balls through my boxers.
Talent.
I feel like a lot of men who have balls could put their balls through their. Not like I can. Not like I can. I can do it in a way that makes people laugh.
Wow. So again, funny. Anyways,
I don't know.
Thanks. I think. I feel
Anyways.
like that was a compliment, but like not really.
No, it is.
At the
It is.
same
Like
time. You're really fucking
you can
annoying.
sing, you can sing, you can
you.
draw, you can paint, you can you're funny.
Thank you.
If you're gonna go with the funny, which I don't think is a talent, by the way, but maybe it is.
Let me
Maybe
just
it
knock you
isn't.
down a couple notches.
You've got like an obscene amount of talents.
Thank you. I think I appreciate it.
I'm good at my job,
yeah.
but that's not a talent.
Whatever.
I don't think I have a talent. Jake, you what?
You can take nothing and turn it into something great.
That's true.
I can take nothing and turn it into something great.
Yeah.
That is a talent.
It is.
You think that's a talent?
Full on talent.
I think it's a skill set.
Okay, that's a good word.
I got a skill set, not a talent.
That's a good word.
But thank you for that. That's very kind of you, Jake.
Mm-hmm.
British would call a talent something else. So talent's just a word.
What would the British call a talent?
A talent.
Women are talent?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
What?
That's the word for a woman is talent. Take a look at that talent over there.
Exactly. It's a
What?
good-looking woman.
I don't know. There's a different.
Oh, that's interesting.
A talented woman is a good-looking woman in the UK.
Look at that talent.
Oh my God, look at that talent.
Talent. Oh, that's a 10 out of 10 talent right there.
That, I'll take that talent to bed
Oh,
today.
here we go. I'm Ringo
There
Starr.
it goes. I'm going to write me a song about this talent.
Anyways,
So going back to what we were saying.
yeah, videos.
That was a really funny, lighthearted comment.
yeah,
I believe that if you see a woman doing something funny and
Yeah.
showing what life is really like, right?
Yeah.
Because so many people on Instagram, they go the other way. They talk about how amazing it is. They want to show off their kitchen when it's beautiful. They don't want to show off their kitchen when it's a disaster. And your level of disaster is entirely different than someone else's level of disaster. I know that your mom or my mom, if they walked into our kitchen, would be like, "Ooh, I'm gonna clean that kitchen for
yeah.
you."
They'd be like, "You guys are trash."
I just find that there are so many people that are hurting in ways that maybe are unique to the times, maybe not. Maybe they just have access to comment. But when you comment on a video like that is lighthearted in nature, someone just needs to give that person a hug. That's all it comes down to.
I thought you were gonna say someone needs to give that person a punch in the
No,
neck.
someone just needs to
And
give that
that's- yeah,
person
yeah,
a hug.
for sure. Hug.
For you to be so not offended, but like triggered.
yeah.
I always find that whenever I'm triggered, it's an opportunity for me to like, why is this triggering for me? It goes back to like happy dads at drop off. Why does that trigger me? It shouldn't trigger me.
Right.
Seeing someone else's happiness shouldn't trigger me. And yet I'm triggered by it.
I think too, though, like there's something funny about, and not funny, when you see a woman on social media who is, again, a little bit raw and maybe funny and like poking light of things. It's like the immediate reaction is like, how can we take her down a notch? If that was a man making that video and like doing the exact same rhyme, people would be like, man, that's a funny dad. You know what I mean? Where
Yeah.
it's like, man,
I wish I
let's
could
bring
rhyme.
that down.
You can rhyme too. Oh my God, I forgot about that. You are so good at rhyming. You know who's terrible at rhyming?
You.
Me.
Yeah.
I
You're
can't
not
do
great.
it.
Like, weren't we driving somewhere? Or no, you texted me. Fuck, I wish I had this text message. I bet you I could find it. And you were literally like, and it was a voice note. It was a voice note. And you're like, hey, does this rhyme?
Like if you got to ask someone if it rhymes, you know it doesn't.
And then I was crying, laughing, listening to this in the car. And I was like, absolutely not. I was like, please don't say that to anyone. I was like, it's not a rhyme. Because I don't know what the
It had
context
something to do
of
with
it was.
tits or something, right?
It was just not a rhyme. Anyways, back to that. Like, I just think that like it's something about a woman who is like, funny, but like nonchalant. There's just something that society is like, no, we're not. We're actually not about this right now. We're not ready for this.
I think the
So
thing
it's
about
so
women,
weird.
especially on social media, try to be relatable.
Okay.
If you're trying to be relatable, you're not relatable.
Okay.
Does that
but
make sense?
I get what you're saying, and I know exactly the type of person that you're describing. But and in the same sense, I think we're all, in some aspect, like trying to look for a sense of relatability within the community. It just, you have to be able to like back up your relatability. Like this would be like an example. It was not like I put that shit all over the counter and then was like, record. I'm going to be relatable AF today. It was
Yeah,
like,
but
no,
so
this is
many
my inbox.
people
I'm
do
like,
that.
I don't know about that. Like
I
maybe.
do.
Do you? No,
Some talent.
I get what you're saying. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's just, it's funny. Anytime you have any inkling of like, I'm just a little bit unhappy in this moment. And it's funny because the caption of that video is also like, I am also aware that I'm going to miss these times. I'm going to miss the Godzillas on the counter. I'm going to miss like the handprints. I know that. Now is not the time to tell me how much I'm going to miss that, Sally, because in this 3 seconds, I'm just venting here. No part of me is like, and I also don't want my fucking kids home all summer. It was just like, man, this is chaotic for me. And somebody actually commented and was like, you know, what's funny, Britt, is that I listened to your podcast, and if people actually took what you're saying, like in the whole of it, and got to know you and actually do follow you, they would know that your brain is messy when your house is messy. And because you work from home, because we talk about this all the time. And she was like, so I get it. It might not be messy to other people, but it's messy to you. And I was like, oh my gosh, she understands me. Anyways, yeah, I get it. I know we're going to miss it. And in that single moment, I was just like feeling chaos. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm going to do this all summer, because I do work from home and I do need to have some sort of organization. And because my schedule is so inconsistent, it's really hard to be like in the moment and being like, yes, embrace the mess. And then also I'm like, I need structure because I have to work today. But then it's like, it's just like a clusterfuck sometimes. You know what I mean?
I do.
Parenthood is such mental warfare. Like, it's
Just
annoying.
adulting in general is a clusterfuck.
Yeah.
So
It's all
our
shit.
niece and nephew, which is, well, I'll tie it back to Cooper for a second, but our niece and nephew, they're twins. They just celebrated their 8th birthday.
Yeah.
And our nephew did not and does not
yeah.
want to be 8. And he is really struggling with the idea
crying.
of being 8, crying, like
Yeah.
really struggling with the idea of being 8. And he really struggled with the idea of being 7.
Yeah.
And Cooper
So did
really
Cooper, yeah.
struggled with the idea of being 6.
He cried.
And so when we ask these individuals, like, so we ask Cooper, why are you upset about being 6? He says, there's just so much pressure to be a 6-year-old. And when you
I
ask,
don't think he said pressure.
he said pressure to Uncle Pete. That's what he said. He says, there's just a lot of pressure, Uncle Pete.
Oh, sorry. Carter said this? Or
No,
Cooper?
said this
There's
to
no
Uncle
way.
Pete. Yes, he did. Ask Pete. Anyways, regardless of whether or not you
I don't
believe
think he
our
said
child
pressure.
said that, I talked to Carter and he was really upset. And I said, "What are you upset about?" He's like, I just, I don't want to be 8. And I said, "Well, why don't you want to be 8?" And he said, "Well, I just really like being 7."
Yeah.
I'm like, "What did you like about being 7?" And so he started sharing with me. I said, "You know what? You get to do all of those things when you're 8."
Yeah.
And then what I kind of started to like really think about is my son doesn't want to be older.
Mm-hmm.
My nephew doesn't want to be older. I lived in a time where we always wanted to be older.
It's so true. We're always like,
All we wanted was to
till
be
I can
older.
get my license and I'll have some freedom and I'll do all this.
I'm going to give us a little pat on the back. I'm going to give my sisters and my brother-in-laws, both of them, pats on the back. The idea that our children do not want to become adults tells you how much fun they're having as children.
Yeah, that's true.
And I am super proud of us as parents and super proud of my sisters and my brother-in-laws for raising their kids in an environment where they recognize how special it is to be a child.
Mm-hmm.
I literally every year, I can't wait till next year I get to do this, 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 and this. I was always living in the future. And to a certain degree, our kids are kind of living in the past.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cooper
In a good
cried
way.
the other night with you, remember?
Yeah, he was so sweet. He was just like we were watching old videos, and the kids like to watch videos of them, and Cooper was like, I don't want to watch this anymore. And I was like, why, buddy? Like, what's wrong? And he was like, it makes me sad. Like, I want to go back to being a little kid. I want to be like 3 or whatever video it was, because like I want to be a baby like that. It was so much fun. Then I'm like, are you not having fun now? He's like, no, I am, but like it makes me sad thinking that I can't have that anymore. And I was like, oh my God, why are you being so deep right now? It was just really like, speaking of,
I love that for our kids.
I know.
I love that for our kids. I hope that they live the rest of their lives like kids. I do. I don't know why you guys are laughing.
for a job.
No,
How old
but
are
like,
you? How old are you?
if they keep that,
23?
if they keep that, I don't know why they would talk like that.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we have recess here?
Hey, fuck.
My mom packed my school snacks today, and there's no peanuts.
There's components of them being an adult that they need to become, but I'm saying, as an overall, I look at my mom
Ma'am,
as an
this is the
example.
DMV. What
I
are
look
you
at my mom as an example. My mom is still a child.
Yeah.
My mom loves Disney. My mom
she
loves
does.
Peter Pan. My mom thinks that she's a fairy. And I don't mean that. She doesn't actually think she's a fairy, but she does. Like, her favorite time of the year is the last 2 weeks because all of
Christmas.
the last 2 weeks that have just happened in this world, because in their backyard,
Christmas.
all the,
The best.
oh, fuck. My God.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
Oh my God. While we're on this train, Jake and I had a quick bet that you would sit down and be like, so what are we talking about today? Like, I literally pre-recorded a message.
Who bet?
We both did.
Well, then you guys didn't bet. Who said I wouldn't?
We bet. Nobody said you wouldn't. We just said, like, what are the chances over 75% that you were going to say as you were sitting down?
The
You didn't say
over-under was 75.
higher or lower. Yeah, and we were
You don't
gracious.
know how over-under works.
No, I don't. I'm not really good at that.
Over-under is not percentage-based.
This isn't
it's
about me.
numbered-based.
This is about the fact that you absolutely played into what we thought you would do.
Brittany's like, over-under. What are the chances we're going to do this?
That is how I do it. Yes or no? Over, under, yes or no?
I don't think that's how over-under works, Brittany.
I'm not good at it.
Well, what do you think the percentage is?
Talentless.
Yes, yeah. I'll tell you what one of your talents aren't.
Right.
Yeah.
Not knowing how to use the term over, under.
You're not a mathematician.
But you're right. Your mom has a child heart, because she's just like, and she does make magic for the children. Like, look how much she does love Christmas because of the kids. Look how much she like decorates everything because of the kids. My mom's the exact same way. So I do love that for our kids.
This goes back to the conversation of living in the moment versus living in the past or living in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to be where you are and be fully present. Like, everyone talks about balance, work-life balance. There is no fucking thing as work-life balance. Let's be very clear.
Oh,
What
okay.
there is presence. If I'm
From
working,
Christmas.
yeah, that's presence. I guess it's the same word. Oh shit, I hate our language. How come Polish and Polish are spelt the same? That makes no sense.
That's actually presents.
There's a difference
What's this?
between present and presence.
You said presents.
Yeah.
And presents.
Presents
No,
and
it is
presents.
not presents. It's presents.
They're spelled different,
No, they're
aren't they?
not. Presents. They are, but they're said the same. Like your presence
present.
here. Your presence
Yeah.
here is one. Like, we love, like, your presence brings a certain sense of like calming, where it's like your presence from Christmas. They're said the same, but they're spelled
But if
differently.
I'm present, is it the
We're not-
same? No, but if I'm present in the moment,
Yes.
is that the same present as
Yes.
in, like,
spelled
here
the
you
same.
go?
Spelled
Is
the
it?
same. Yes. But
Oh,
presence.
there should be a new word for it.
Presence, like, is with a C.
Yes.
And then
presence and
with an S.
presents.
But it's not present. You're saying presents.
Is it?
Oh, in the presents. Anyways,
the idea of being present
yes.
in the moment
Right.
is all that matters.
Ryan's like, does that rhyme?
You know, being present in the moment.
Okay, I want to quickly do a
You
little.
own it. You better never let it go. I feel like I just made that up.
I want to do a little shout out to our daughter for handling a situation.
Oh my God! What? I'm so proud of
Yeah,
her.
so proud of her. So we're not going to get into too many details because
So here's all the details.
no. It's just there was something with some friends of hers who had made a video and wanted to send it to her, and there was some miscommunication there because Riley felt the video was mean, and it was like pictures of her, and there was some miscommunication of who was making the video, and it really hurt Riley's feelings.
Well, the intentions I don't think the intentions were great.
I don't think so either, but
Taking
also
videos of her, all of her
Correct.
videos, and finding the most unflattering images
No.
of her in those
For
videos,
sure.
probably not intentionally lighthearted.
Yes.
Let's be clear.
For sure. So it really affected Riley. Like she literally took all of her social media, like, cause she has a private Instagram account where she makes these like dancing videos and getting ready with me videos or whatever. And she was like, Mom, I want to delete everything. And I remember I literally was gutted. Like she was so upset. She wanted to delete every follower, and it did trigger a conversation for me to have with her and saying like, I can understand that this feels really crappy to know that people were like someone was making fun of you. And I said, you know, Riley, like I'd love to tell you that this gets better. And I'm like, but it doesn't. I'm like, people make fun of me every day. And so this actually made her cackle. She was like, Mom, this is the worst pep talk you've ever given me. She's like, you're telling me that this actually just gets worse. And she was laughing so hard, which I loved. And I said, but I want to be real with you. Like there's always going to be somebody who wants to put your flame out, like always. So you need to be around people who want to ignite it, who want to put fuel on it. And so you have to be confident in your, I know he's like, I'm really processing this. You have to be confident enough in what you're doing to say, I don't care if you don't like this. Like it makes me happy. And I'm telling you that I still struggle with that. As an adult, I still struggle with that. So what you're feeling is valid. Anyways, so we're trying to figure it out, and it's a delicate situation.
We're trying to fix it as parents.
Yes, and then we're like, you know what? We're gonna let her do this. We don't
No,
want to swoop in.
no, that's not
no.
what's-
Hold on. We were willing to be like, we can step in, we can talk to the parents, because obviously when you see your daughter hurting like this, your first instinct is to be like, we're addressing this now, like cut it out. And then as we were driving home, she was like, I said, do you feel comfortable messaging her and like talking to her? I said, if you are mature enough to do that, then like I feel like you're mature enough to have social media. But if this is something you're like nervous about, like we have to have a further conversation. So anyways, she messaged the girl and was like, hey, did you make this video of me? And the girl was like, at first said no, and then said yes, and took full accountability and was like, yes, I took this video. Like, I'm sorry. It was not meant in this way. Took accountability, apologized. They went back and forth, but like we were just very proud of Riley because she was like, you know, thank you for addressing this, and I appreciate the apology. I just wanted to let you know that this really hurt my feelings and it wasn't nice. And for a 10-year-old to do that and just be like straightforward is hard. It's hard to do that as an adult. So they went back, they solved it. It's great. They are friends and they're in the same friend circle. So like it was very necessary for them to figure it out. And I just also want to commend the mom, because the mom of this girl wrote me and was like, and you never know with parents, because a lot of the times the parents, some parents don't see or immediately are going to defend their child like regardless. And so I was like, ooh, this could be sticky. And she was incredible. She was like, listen, like this is a zero tolerance, because her daughter was going through some stuff in the fall with somebody else. And she was like, just so you know, like we've taken away the technology. We take this very seriously. I'm so proud of how Riley handled it. And like, I just appreciate the transparency that the girls had. And she was just so wonderful. And it was so refreshing to talk to a parent who isn't immediately like making the other child wrong. Like I'm sure there's going to be times where, and there has already been, where we have to be like, Riley, nuh-uh. Like that was not a good move. And we have to discipline our child, and maybe our child's being a mean girl. The one time they were trying to 3-way call Remember that where I caught
do.
them and I
Yep.
was like,
That's a
they
no.
were trying to like get their friend to say something bad about the other girl in the room.
Yep.
And I said, absolutely not.
We used to do that as kids all the time.
All the time.
You'd always know when the phone rang, the landline rang, it had a double ring.
Yeah, it did.
You always knew there was two people on
Yeah,
the call.
yeah.
And I used to always pretend like I didn't know the person was on the call.
Oh, yeah.
And they'd be like, what are your thoughts on this person? I said, I think they're great.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but like, what about that one
Well,
time you
yeah.
said this?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
you know
was
what? I
annoying.
thought about it. No, they're all pretty great. I'm like, you fucker, you
I
trying
know.
to
You're
triple
trying.
call me? Trying to triple call me? Motherfucker.
Anyways, that in that moment, I said, you're done. Like you're losing she lost her phone privileges, I think for 2 weeks. She couldn't message anyone. We had to delete Messenger, but Riley was the mean girl in that situation.
Yep.
She learned that real quick and it was so shitty. But I was very proud of Riley and how she handled it. And I was very grateful and respected the other parent in how she handled it. Cause you never know. You just never know these
Every
days.
generation deals with a different form of the same thing.
Yeah.
Our children are growing up in a world where their thoughts, their feelings, and their self-expression are amplified across the board to so many people that would normally not have access. When I grew up, the school I went to, there was 2 classes in my grade always. So there was like 60 students. 60 people knew my shit. 60 people.
And then they usually
And-
forgot about it the next day.
And it was huge. Everything was huge with 60 people. Now it's hundreds and thousands. It's other schools, it's other districts, it's other cities that
There's
now have
proof.
access.
There's like, hey, this is what happened at this party.
And everything sticks with you. We interviewed a lady 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and she had talked about how at the age of 7, girls in particular, I know boys do it as well, but girls in particular stop being them and start being a version that they think society has asked them to become.
Yeah.
And I remember how impactful that was. And I remember the conversations that we've had with Riley and some of the things that we started to bring into communication with Riley back then. You're now starting to reap the benefits of it. You're now starting to see the confidence in the understanding that I can communicate my feelings effectively. I don't have to make someone wrong. There's no morality that's needed here. It's you did something, it impacted me. I need you to understand the impact of that and don't fucking do it again.
yeah.
But to see the confidence that Riley has to be able to say, oh, I'm just going to message her.
Yeah.
I know that didn't exist for me.
Yeah.
I know that I would have danced around it.
Well, she
my
did at
family,
first.
my
Like it-
family's a dancing around people.
Yeah.
My family is historically, we were talking about my aunt Sharon was talking about this. Oh, that's a really good conversation for us to have on the next podcast when I'm prepared. My aunt Sharon was talking about how blah, 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 blah. Families have this drama. And I said, yeah, but like our family is just the type of family that pretends there's no issue and we talk shit behind each other's backs, right? That's what we do as a family. I think a lot of families do that because they don't want to hurt each other's feelings. But at the end of it, at the core of it all, does it make you happy? The answer is no. Well, the choice that Riley made was to do something about it. And we tried to fix it. We tried to intervene because that's what parents do.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we didn't have to
I know, me too.
because we would have danced around the subject.
Yeah.
That's what we do. That's not what she's done. And I'm so proud that we've raised a child that feels confident enough to say, like, that was fucking mean. Don't do that. That hurt my feelings. Don't do that. If your intentions weren't bad, cool.
Don't
but
do
now you know the boundaries.
Yeah.
If you do it again, now it's intentional. Don't fucking do it.
Yeah, for sure. That's exactly what I said to her. I said, Riley, like it's a win-win. Regardless of what happens after you initiate the conversation, it's a win-win. You're either going to figure out that it was not intentionally mean, or you're going to figure out that it was, and now you know exactly who this person is, and you're not aligned with them in a friendship.
Yeah, see,
It's a win.
the thing about life is you have in your life right now what you're willing to put up with.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how life works. If you don't like the way your life looks right now, just realize you don't mind it. Because if you minded it,
You do something,
about it.
Yeah, there's always a choice.
Whatever you're willing to put up with is what your environment currently looks like. So if you don't like how someone's communicating with you, you might not like it, but you don't hate it. It's manageable. Because if it was not manageable, it would have been addressed already. Everything. That's how it
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
How you allow people to treat you is what you're willing to put up with.
So true.
I love the idea that our daughter's not willing to put up with bullying. I love the idea that our daughter's not willing to put up with being treated poorly. I love that she's confident enough to say, that's not fucking nice. And we don't have to be friends. We can be friends, but we don't have to be friends. And if you're going to do this, then we're not friends.
Right.
I don't have that.
Yeah.
I don't have that.
What do you mean?
I don't have that confidence to say that to people. I never have.
No, but I think that you are learning to, like you said this in a couple months ago. You're like, I'm taking more of a Brittany approach, right? In your like response to things, because we had just had this conversation the other day. Somebody was doing something in your life and you're like, I'm just going to hold on to it. I will bank it. And then eventually I'll be like, hey, these are all of the times I said that you were doing this, but I knew that you were doing this. I'm like, why are you banking it? I'm like, why don't you just say at the very first attempt at lying or whatever it was, to be like, absolutely not. And you're like, I don't know. I'm like, you're literally allowing this person to continue to do this.
Yeah.
Over and over and over again. Like, why would you, for what? Just to be like, see how many times I knew.
It's a control thing. So I talked
know
to Kirk about this because he and I both do it.
Yeah.
It's a control thing. When we
It's not
know
helpful.
when we know that someone is said something, done something, lied, or whatever, when it's something that's not the way that you would want it to be, we hold on to it so that the one time that we get the opportunity to be in complete control around it, we can just lay it all out.
I know.
But that's so disempowering.
It is.
Because what I'm now starting to understand is you have accepted it, and now it's become a precedent that you accept it.
Yes, and you
so
also
to come
know-
back a month later, 2 months later, 6 months later and say, gotcha.
Yeah.
It's like,
You're
why?
not- you're
I could have just
also
ended it.
living
I could have
with-
ended it 6 months
right.
earlier.
And you're also living with a listening of this person where you're never actually being able to get over these small compounded situations and scenarios, because you're like,
It's not fair to
well,
them.
everything that you've ever done, like, I don't trust you because I know you did this.
It's not
so
fair
you,
to them.
you have this listening regardless of what they do. It's like you've already put them in this box. So
You've created a listening that you accept certain behavior.
yeah.
And you're absolutely right. It's not fair to that person because you will never listen to them as a powerful human being.
Yeah.
You'll always have a diminished listening of them because you're holding something over
This
them.
is obviously easier said than done. Like, it's so much easier for us to be like, yeah, just address the issue. There's a lot of like, I don't like confrontation. Like, as much as I am like confident, I don't like confrontation. It makes me really uncomfortable. But as I've gotten older, I've just like, I don't want to hold on to that. Like I have, and we've talked about this so many times, I have certain boundaries where like, I will be kind. I will do all this until I'm done. Like, and then I'm done in my life. Like, it doesn't mean I need to be confrontational with you, but I just feel like if there's somebody that's important to you, the friendship is important to you, the relationship is important to you. If it's important to you, you should address it, because otherwise you're just like, then it's not important to you. Like, those people are not what you want them to be if you can't address the issue.
The idea, well, wouldn't say it's not important to you. I'd say that you have a skewed listening of it because you don't want, it's like the devil, you know. If
No,
I
I
don't
get
say
it.
anything, this is workable. This is manageable. I can live in this environment.
But that just goes back
It's
to
not
what
the
you're
environment
saying.
I want,
Right.
but I could live in it. It's
just-
manageable. I'm willing to put up with this.
That's what I mean. Like,
Take the higher road and just bury it. But you don't bury it. You never bury it.
And you're just
You
not
hold on to it.
fully happy. I think in that relationship, you're not fully able to be happy
Yeah.
because you have this anyways.
My dad used to always say, it's like eating rat poison and hoping that the rat dies.
Oh, there's that.
Yeah. He's like, that's what it's like. To hold on to something like that is to eat poison and hope that the person that you are wanting to give the poison to dies. They don't. You do. It kills you. You know, they're like, karma's a bitch. I want it. Karma's a bitch. You know what? Karma doesn't
Shout
actually
out to
come around.
JoJo Siwa.
Karma doesn't come around as much as you think it would. It really doesn't. Have you ever noticed that?
I
Karma's going to get them one day. The fuck it will. The fuck it will. It's not real.
No, I think that's just
Karma's
somebody,
not real.
Somebody.
It's not like the
said
world
that.
balances out. You were a dick. Something bad's going to happen to you. No, that's not how the world
Sometimes
works.
I think that karma is just like a notion that people who have like constantly been burned made up so that they don't actually have to deal with it. Like, oh yeah. And but I do believe like what you put out will come back. Like if I'm putting out being kind and being gracious and compassionate to other people, I believe that will come back to me. I want to be treated how I'm treated through blah, 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 blah. But I don't necessarily believe in karma. Like if you're a dick, that doesn't mean that somebody's going to be a dick to you. Well, maybe. Either way.
I don't know. I just look at it this way. You put out what you want to create.
Yeah.
So whether or not me being kind means somewhere down the road I'm going to win the lottery.
No.
I'd rather just be kind.
Yeah.
If I win the lottery, great. But I'm not going to be like, you know what? I walked that old lady across the street that one day.
win
That's
the
why I won
lottery.
$50 million in the
Yeah.
Lotto Max. No, I don't think that.
I agree.
And I also don't think if you're a dick that though you're going to get hit by a train.
No.
I know too many people in my life that have not been hit by trains.
But maybe karma is more of an arbitrary term where it's like if somebody is not a nice person and they're an asshole, eventually their assholeness is going to catch up to them and they're going to fuck with the wrong person and then they're going to get it right back to them. And that we could maybe say karma. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're constantly putting out that negative bullshit, you eventually are going to get some negative bullshit back.
Maybe. I just like what you said. I think when we decide to say, well, karma's going to get them, that what we're doing is we're no longer being responsible for the relationship that you have with that person.
Yeah.
You can't just be like, karma's going to get them. No, if you really think that karma's going to get that person, then you have unspoken communication with that person. And you've got to decide whether or not you want to have that conversation or forget that exists. Because you're going to carry it.
It's up to you.
You're going to carry it either way.
You're going to carry it. You done?
I am.
All right. Just want to make sure you didn't have anything else to say. You don't want to end the podcast? You don't. You're just saying no? Thanks for joining us today. He wants to say something so bad. Have a good day. Peace.
Deuces.
There goes a sight from my soul.